What is up? Happy Taco Tuesday. Welcome into Let's Bet It. Lauren Jabbar here with Mark Zeno MZ. How are we today?
We are doing well. It's great to be here with you as always. You are my absolute favorite person to work with, but I've heard from other sources that you don't enjoy working with me as much as you always seem to when we do this show together.
Zeno, you pick on me before the show starts.
J-Bar, I love you.
See. My friend
I know,
calls me. My friend
Mhm.
calls me and is talking to me about our weekend, and Zeno is in the background imitating me the entire time. And I didn't even notice.
It's big brother, little sister kind of love. That's all it is.
I love it.
I'm here for you. You're the
I
best.
don't have a big brother, but now I do, so I appreciate that,
Yes.
Zeno. And you're back in
Good,
your
I'm glad.
man cave at your house. How was the weekend for
Yes.
you?
It was good. It was good. You know, I'm creating a rule here on Let's Bet It. No mentioning my play of the day winning streaks, because since you guys brought it up, I'm 0-3. So we don't talk about the winning streaks. We don't talk about Bruno. Don't talk to a pitcher in the middle of the no-hitter. These are all things that we will live and abide by.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good. I swear. I solemnly swear. From now on, I will never mention your plays of the day again. Okay, make sure before we get started to download the Pickswise app, give it a 5-star rating. It's pretty kick-ass, so make sure to do that. If you don't have it on your phone, you're missing out. What are you even doing? You know what I mean? Download it, make it happen. Lots to talk about today, though. We have our Better Up segment, quite a few MLB games on the slate. I don't know if you've heard, Zeno, we have the PGA Championship this weekend that I'm getting really excited for. We have Diane Knox Balas on the show to break it all down for us. I'm looking at our Google sheet. She has quite a few pretty incredible bets that she's going to tell us about. NBA Morning Radar. We have the Eastern Conference Finals starting today, the Western Conference Finals starting tomorrow. We're going to get your picks for both, my pick or lack of pick for the Celtics Heat game, because I'm just looking forward to a good game tonight. And then we have the second round of the NHL playoffs also starting tonight, which I have quite a few bets for that. So we'll go get into all of that, and then we can't end without our Pickswise 3-star play of the day and our best bets of the day. So let's get right into it. Let's bet it. We always start out with Better Up, the YRFIs and NRFIs. Yes runs first inning, no runs first inning. Yesterday, the NRFIs went 9-6. Now, Boston has won 11 of their last 12. They've gone NRFIs in 11 of their last 12. Detroit has 9 of the last 11 to the NRFIs. So no runs first inning for Boston has become a trend. No runs first inning for Detroit has become a trend. It's pretty incredible to see. Zeno, who do you got today for your NRFIs and YRFIs?
All right. Well, my YRFI is going to go between the Los Angeles Angels and the Texas Rangers. They're playing in Texas. The Angels, the #1 team in Major League Baseball this year in first inning scored percentage. You're getting two starters who like to give up a lot of run, in Reed Detmers and Taylor Hearn for the Texas Rangers. So given the potency of these two offenses, and it's not a bad price. It's kind of right at my threshold. You know, I talk always about that, like 125 is where I am. It's -128 for the YRFI. So I think it's a good play here with two high-scoring teams and the highest-scoring first-inning percentage team in Major League Baseball. My NRFI is actually going to be with the Atlanta Braves and the Milwaukee Brewers. In this game, you are getting a high-level starting pitching matchup. I kid. Adrian Hauser is starting for the Milwaukee Brewers, but they had a great start. You know, they had a very close game last night. Adrian Hauser is starting for the Milwaukee Brewers, only been touched up in one of his starts in the last 3 outings in the first inning. And the Braves are going to start Tucker Davidson. This is where it gets a little bit dicey, because the Braves are not a very good first inning scored percentage team. The Brewers are top 10 in first inning scored percentage in Major League Baseball. Tucker Davidson making his first start of the year. He's made 1 relief appearance, and he's given up 5 runs. And so when the bottom of the first comes in, I'm kind of going to be like, you know, that person who forgets their friend's birthday, maybe their friend Sophia, like hiding in a room, hoping that nothing bad happens whatsoever. So that's where I'm going to be during the bottom of the first inning with the Atlanta Braves. Why? I'm just saying, like, if you forget a friend's birthday, you want to hide and just wait until it all goes away, and it works out well.
So this is what happened, everybody, for people that don't know. I was on the phone with my friend before the show, and it was her birthday yesterday, and she's like, I felt really bad. I missed Sophia's birthday, one of our other friends, this weekend. and Zeno was making fun of me. He's like twirling his hair. Apparently, I twirl my hair a lot, and I don't even realize that I'm
A
doing it.
lot.
But he's like, I'm going to work in that you guys missed Sophia's birthday this weekend. I'm a bad friend, too. I forgot to text her. That's horrible.
Yeah, well,
Horrible.
listen, now everybody on the interwebs knows about it. If you have a birthday, Lauren's going to forget it.
It's okay.
Your
Sorry
fee
about
or
it,
Nerf?
guys.
Yes to forgetting the birthday, no to forgetting the birthday.
Yeah.
Your fee and Nerfy.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, birthday. I was trying to think of
No
that.
birthday.
My mind's just not working that fast this morning, to be honest with you. So just forget about it. Forget about it. I have one MLB bet today, and it is a strikeout prop. Dylan Cease over 6.5 Ks. And for me, this is more about Dylan Cease than it is about the Royals. The White Sox playing the Royals tonight. So you look at Cease's numbers. He's surpassed 6.5 in 4 straight games that he's pitched, and in all but one game that he's pitched this season. And he's struck out 8 in all but one game this season. I know the Royals do have the second best K rate against righties over the last 2 weeks, but Dylan Cease has punched out 9 Royals in a start back on April 27th. It is a little bit juicy for this. It is at minus 146, so you're laying 46 cents. But at this point, the numbers basically all point, but at this point, the numbers point to the fact that he is going to hit that point over 6.5 Ks. How many times can I say the word point in a sentence? But I do like Dylan Cease over 6.5 Ks in a spot like this. And again, it's more about Dylan Cease than the Royals. How do you feel about it, Zeno?
Well, it's interesting because they're playing 2 today, and you're getting in the first half of the doubleheader. And
Yes.
that is something that's worthwhile noting because typically it's the second game of the doubleheader where teams are things are a little bit more out of order, if you will. There's a lot more variance in the second game because some pitchers are available, some aren't. Some guys hit well better, after 3 or 4 at bats. Some guys don't. Some guys take a rest in the second game. So you're kind of getting best on best to eliminate the variance. So from that standpoint, I get where you're going with Dylan Cease, despite the fact that Kansas City is one of the higher, or I should say one of the lower strikeout rates in Major League Baseball, one of the highest at not striking out. But I get where you're going with Dylan Cease. It's never a bad prop to back him.
But you are on under strikeout prop. Tell me a little bit more, my friend.
Staying with the Milwaukee Brewers here and Adrian Hauser getting the start. Now, this is sort of a little bit counter here, and it's more about the value on the line that I'm getting. The Braves have the highest strikeout rate in Major League Baseball. They have struck out more than any other team in Major League Baseball. They struck out how many times last night, Lauren? Tell the world.
16. And then they struck out 16 times on Sunday against the Padres, too. So 2 consecutive games with 16 punch-outs. It's not great.
Lots and lots of swings and misses here by the Atlanta Braves. I'm going to be betting on sort of baseball regression that they'll come back to the mean here and not have a bad game strikeout-wise. Adrian Hauser is not a big strikeout pitcher. His under 4.5 Ks is even money at plus 100, and that's where, for me, the value is. Instead of taking the over at minus 148, where it's just juice I'm not comfortable playing, I'll roll the dice here and see if the Braves can't get their bats going and knock Adrian Hauser out of this game a little bit earlier than expected. He's not even averaging a strikeout per inning on the season, so he's going to have to get to 5 innings. If the Braves can get to him early, the chances of him staying in for 5 are slim. Hopefully the Braves bats wake up and they stop striking out and Adrian Hauser stays under 4.5.
Yeah, keeping our fingers crossed for that, because that loss last night for the Braves was tough. Ian Anderson, tough. 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run on a wild pitch, and that was the difference in the game. They say, Zeno, I don't know, you're the married one, that it's all about the little things. Is that true?
Yeah, don't bring insults into this. I was joking around before. Now you're getting serious. Yes, it's all about the little things. The details matter.
Taking it, and I took that personally.
I know, and I took that personally. I felt that in here.
We do have a question in the chat about the Mariners Blue Jays no runs first inning. How would you lean in that spot?
Well, look, the Mariners have been surprisingly good when it comes to scoring runs, comparatively speaking, to what at least I thought that they were going to be. And you're getting Berrios and Gilbert are starting tonight. And full disclosure, don't know that much about them. I'm just checking on the number right now for what where the juice is. And it's over to 104, under to minus 118. Toronto this year, let me get their first inning scored percentage, is second in Major League Baseball. behind the Angels. So if you're going to take advantage of a below average pitcher, you might have a chance to do it. Seattle is 12th in the league. They've scored in 30% of their first innings so far on the year. I know the under is a little bit juicier, but you're going to get some spots where you're going to have guys score runs in the first inning. At the minus 104, I'd pay the less juice and roll the dice.
Less juicy. Roll the dice. And let's roll the dice onto the golf course. We have the PGA Championship, Zeno, coming up this weekend. I am really excited about it. It's one of the ones that we all look forward to. It's actually, I think, my favorite tournament other than the Masters to watch. So let's bring in Diane Knox Balas to break down the PGA Championship for us. Diane, come on in. How are we today, Diane? First of all, before we get started into the PGA Championship, I want to say congratulations. You are pregnant.
Look at that glow.
You guys are expecting a baby.
That is a glow. That's a pregnancy glow.
I know. I still can't believe I still honestly am in shock about it. But if you thought if I have a glow now, that's great, because for the past 8 weeks, I have not had a glow. I've had a probably sickness face for most of the time. So whenever I've been on with you, I've probably thrown up right before and right after. So
no way. You've been that sick.
On the bright side, as a golf analyst, you're much closer to the hole then. So, if you're hitting right down the middle of the bowl, then you're good. We'll call it center cut.
Exactly. I love that. That's a great way to think about it. But thank you so much. I love the fact that we can talk about it now, because it has been the hardest secret to keep.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Congratulations. I can't wait to see how everything matriculates over the next couple of months. You're due in November. I'm so excited for you. That's so incredible.
Now, I'm just genuinely curious. I'm genuinely curious at how big your belly can get and you can still get a golf swing in. That's what I'm really curious about.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to finding out, because I am 13 weeks and already I'm like, what is this? I've never had this before. So it's already very prominent. And last night my husband was like, do you want to go hit balls at the range? I'm like, nope, don't think so.
Yeah,
just work on your short game then. A little bit of short game, just chipping and putting.
Yeah, my putting will be
great. That's great. Okay, getting into the PGA Championship, what can you tell us about the Southern Hills Country Club course in Tulsa? Like, what kind of a player, Diane, is going to have an advantage at this course?
Do you know, this course is my brother, Russell Knox. He's playing this week. And I texted him this morning and I was like, how would you sum it up? And he said, it's a beast. And I mean, it really is, by all accounts, 7,556 yards, playing a par 70. So it's definitely a long course. We have 2 par 5s that are over 630 yards. 3 par 3s playing over 200 yards. I mean, it's definitely a long course. But okay, I think that the Bombers will be at a bit of an advantage, but precision is going to be so big this week. They renovated the course in 2018, 2019 and kind of widened it, opened it up, removed some trees. So in that sense, you've got a little bit more room off the tee, but the greens are the defining characteristic of Southern Hills. Very small, undulated greens. And the runoffs are going to be interesting to watch this week. So if guys miss their point on the green, it's not like they have a short runoff and they're going to stop at the rough, on the cuff there. There's none of that. They're all shaved away, and the run out when these guys miss their spots on the green is going to be massive. So it's going to be interesting. I already love what we've got coming up this week, because I think the course is going to be the star of the show.
Diane, and typically, look, all PGAs usually play long, right? Bethpage Blackett was there a couple of years ago. These are monster courses where the big hitters are always going to have the advantage. And you mentioned the forgiveness, but how much will iron play come into this as much as the driver will? Because if you talk about smaller greens, those second shots trying to get up on par 4s are going to be a lot more difficult.
Yeah, 100%. And I've been really looking at greens and regulation this week. And the way to think about it is, okay, you have the guys that are going to bomb it down there. So they're going to have a shorter club into the green, which means, hopefully more control and more precision. But then you have guys that are obviously a little bit further back, who are so elite with their longer irons. So that's why I'm like, I just don't think it's going to be a huge advantage to be a massive hitter off the tee, because I think that second shot is really going to be key.
You look at a guy like Tiger Woods, he's returning for this event. Is there any chance, Diane, that he can make some splashes and hopefully not in the water?
I see you shaking your head. I am confident. Now, you know me, eternal optimist, especially to Tiger. And we've seen some brilliant signs. I mean, we know played 18 at Southern Hills a couple of weeks ago. He was there nice and early on Sunday. He said that he feels a lot stronger since the Masters, and we saw him walk a very hilly golf course for 4 days. So I don't think the walk is going to be a challenge for him this week. The thing that's interesting is when we saw him playing Augusta National, his swing was fantastic, and it was the putter that let him down, and nobody knows the greens of Augusta better than Tiger, so it genuinely was his putting, and he's been working on that. Of course he has. So I am optimistic. His caddy also said he sees a lot more endurance in Tiger compared to the Masters. So I mean, I'm always going to say he's going to make the cut. I've even got him as a top 10 this week.
Very aggressive. Look, that's the one bet I'd make on Tiger for him to make the cut, because what I think is what we'll see from the Masters is what we'll see at the PGA. He'll have a very good first round. He will be in competition because his strength and his endurance is at its highest, but then naturally he'll just start to fade off, I think, by the time you get to Saturday and Sunday, to a position where he's not going to be top 10. But I think at minus 142, even though it's a little bit more juice than I would always pay, it's a very solid bet for Tiger to make the cut. Comparatively speaking to a lot of his contemporaries who are much more expensive to make the cut, the guys we are pretty sure will make the cut, I don't think it's a bad bet on Tiger to make it.
And let's not forget that the last time a major was held here was the PGA Championship in 2007, which Tiger won. And he had really contended at the US Open before that. So I know the course has obviously changed a bit since then, but, you know, not too much where it's going to be unfamiliar for Tiger. So, yeah, I'm positive. How can you not be? You have to root for him.
Another guy that I love rooting for is Jordan Spieth. He had a really impressive showing at the Byron Nelson. He came in second. He's been playing solid all year. I think you have him right at 18-1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love Jordan this week, and he is my favorite. Jordan has never won the PGA Championship. He's won the 3 other majors. So this is his chance to complete the career major Grand Slam. And honestly, I don't think he's ever had a better chance to do it. Yeah, as you say, he played great, finishing in a tie for second at the Byron Nelson last week, which was his home event in Dallas. And when he won the RBC Heritage a little while ago, he had his worst putting performance in a long time. But he really gained strokes on the in Dallas at the weekend. So the putter seems to be working again for Jordan. But what I really love is he played Southern Hills with Justin Thomas a few weeks ago. And he said that he loved it. He highlighted the fact that it really requires some delicate little chip shots around the green and getting creative. And that is the strength of Jordan's game. So as soon as I saw that he said that, I was like, okay, great. That's just cemented my pick of him being my favorite. And at 18-1, I think there was about 6 or 7 guys above him when I checked. So, you know, he is one of the favorites, but he's not one of the like glaringly obvious kind of low odds favorites at the top.
Jordan's biggest challenge is just to stay top 20, you know, through the cut. Yeah. I think really Saturday is his day when he really knows how to make a move. And Sunday he puts himself within, you know, a handful of strokes of the leader. I think he's got a great shot to win this thing. So I do love that bet. But what about 2-time PGA champ Brooks Koepka, who seems to have been all over the place as of late? I mean, he talked about some injuries, wasn't 100% healthy. But you talk about a guy who's got both components we talked about earlier, a big drive and certainly great irons to get up to the green. So do you like his chances and given where he is and how he's played lately?
I do, and I'm looking at Koepka for a top 10 at 8-1. I mean, he's Mr. PGA Championship. He's won 2. He won at Bethpage Black, as you said earlier. And
I was there.
I think that were you?
You were.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I mean, I grew up down the block from that course. So I've actually played the blue course over there, but it's it's unreal when you get out there to see that course and walk it with them. I'm tired just watching dudes.
Yeah, no, that's so true. Yeah, it really was a beast. But the question mark with Koepka that's so frustrating is the fact that he withdrew last week from the AT&T Byron Nelson, and we didn't really get an explanation as to why. I heard a few rumblings that it was to do with his hip. We know that he's injury prone when it comes to his hip, his knees, his wrist. So that was the only thing that caused me a bit of concern. And the other thing is, Brooks always been known to step up his game. He's got this new gear when it comes to the majors, but he missed a cut at the Masters. So it's for me it was a little bit of a delicate balance, but I think that he wouldn't be playing this week if he didn't feel like he could go out there and do something great. Is there a bit of pressure on him? A little bit, I think, just because he does say how much he thrives under these major conditions, and obviously has won the PGA twice, so finished second last year behind Phil, and I thought at 8-1 I liked him for the top 10.
For a guy like Cam Smith, he's taken a little break from the tour. He's back for the PGA Championship. Is this a rest or a rust situation? How much do you think that rest is going to help him put on maybe a show this weekend?
I think definitely a rest situation. Cam Smith lives not far from me, and he loves his boats and his fishing. And I'm sure after he won all that money at the Players' Championship, he would have bought either a new boat or some souped-up engine for the one he's got already. But I'm sure that he really enjoyed the rest. I know he played Mark Leishman's Begin Again Foundation charity event a couple of weeks ago, beginning of last week, I think. So he's been out there, he's been playing golf, and I think the demeanor of Cam Smith, he's just like, he seems so laid back. He seems like he hasn't got a care in the world, and he just turns up and we see this natural talent. I mean, we know that he's one of the best putters that we have on tour. And, all the talk about the greens at Southern Hills this week. So I love Cam Smith. It's really hard to overlook him.
Diane, what are some of your other favorite plays for this weekend coming up?
Okay, I have a great one, and I'm so excited by this because I knew I wanted to pick this guy before I even saw the odds come out. And when I did, I was like, he's 150-1. So Taylor Gooch is from Oklahoma. He went to Oklahoma State. We have a few of the Cowboys in the field, Victor Hovland, Ricky Fowler. But Taylor Gooch, this has been his defining year on the PGA Tour. He won the RSM Classic. He's had 3 top 10 finishes and 2 T11 finishes. So just amazing. Finished T14 at Augusta National in the first major of the year. And I just think that he's playing so well. He's contending pretty much week after week and will continue to do so. Maybe a little bit of pressure this week playing in front of a home crowd. But again, I think the demeanor of Gooch when he's on the course, he's got that win now. He's been playing so well that he's going to have the real kind of home support and the fans out with him this week. And at 150-1, I was like, oh my gosh, I jumped on that the second I saw it.
What other guys do you like to maybe finish like first, or do you have any other top 10 contenders at this point that you bet on?
I like Cody Connors. I've been so big on Cody Connors forever, and still can't believe he's only got 1 win on the tour, but he's got a great major record, 3 top 10 finishes at the Masters, a T15 at the Open last year. When we talk about precision iron play, Connors is one, plays great in the wind. That's going to be a factor this week. It's just his putter, and it's so frustrating. My other guy is Cameron Young, and I got him at 80-1. Similar player to Connors, in that he's just an elite ball striker. He's had 3 runner-up finishes this season, and 1 came at the Wells Fargo just a few weeks ago. TPC Potomac was a tough course. He's had a runner-up finish at Riviera for the Genesis, another tough course. So again, we just need a good putting week for Connors and for Cameron Young. But Cameron Young, for his rookie year on tour, he's just an insane talent. So I was big on that. And then, well, I had to pick my brother for something, okay?
I know, I was just looking at the Google sheet, and I'm like,
hold on a second. Forget, I understand picking him 100%. I would ask you this question. What's the piece of advice you're giving him as he's heading into this tournament?
I don't like to give him advice because at the end of the day, this is his thing, and there's nothing I can tell him to do. But he was 6th alternate last week. So, we met up the other day. We met up after we had our 12-week scan. We went to see him to show him the pictures. And, I think at that point he was 3rd alternate, and it just kept moving up and up and up. And Sunday morning, Paul Casey withdrew, and we have a group text, and we were like, yes. So Russell's strength of his game is his greens and reg. He's 2nd on the whole PGA Tour for greens and regulation, and he's picked up a lot of distance over the past year as well. So I think that he's really going to relish the opportunity this week, and Yeah, I mean, I never want to be like, yes, pick Russell, because it's such a hard pick for me, but
You have to bet
at
on him. He's your
25 to
brother.
1 for a top 10. Yeah, I thought, it's worth it for me. So I'm really excited for him. I know he's going to make the most of this opportunity this week as well.
That's going to be really exciting. I'm going to tail you on this one just because I want to root for your brother at this
Absolutely,
point.
yeah.
Awesome.
Let's all throw some shekels down on Russell.
I know.
I'm in. I'm here for it.
Oh,
you look at some of the group betting. So you look at Group A, you have John Rahm, Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Jordan Spieth. If you're looking at that group, who do you have is coming out on top of Group A?
I just love Jordan. I really do. I'm so big on Spieth this week. But, Rahm and Scheffler are obviously the favourites. And gosh, Scheffler's won 4 times this year on the PGA Tour. And it's like, and that's this calendar year. So it's, how do you overlook Scheffler when he's world number 1? We're seeing this insane form. He just won the Masters. So, it's hard. That's the thing about a major, is that the cream rises to the top. And I would say out of all the 4 majors, this is maybe the one that can throw up a surprise. I mean, last year, Phil Mickelson won. And at the start of the week, you were getting him at 300 to 1. So I think even though we've got these massive names and what we know about the course this week and the fact that play approaching the greens and around the greens is going to be so important. As Jordan said, those delicate little greenside shots. I think that does open it up a little bit. And, it's fun to find someone like Taylor Gooch at 150 to 1, but you have this elite group at the top that when it comes to majors, they're always there or thereabouts. So, Rahm's going to be in contention. Scheffler's going to be in contention. Rory's going to be up there at some point. And hopefully Jordan is too.
What about Group B? Okay, we're going through all these groups right now. We have Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, Patrick Cantlay, and Dustin Johnson. DJ, who do you like in Group B?
Well, Colin Morikawa's obviously won a PGA before. Again, just elite names. I actually like Dustin Johnson this week for a couple of reasons. We know he's got the length off the tee. He likes playing in these kind of windy conditions. We know that the winds are going to be a factor. I mean, it was storming there earlier today, and they're supposed to be, in excess of 20 miles per hour Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I think as well for DJ, I like looking at the personal life. He just got married. This was like the longest engagement of all time. So I think maybe the pressure is off a little bit now and the wedding's done. So, yeah.
Well, it's interesting. If DJ doesn't take that triple on the back 9 at Augusta, he has a much different finish. And I think we're viewing him differently heading into this tournament. He would have been a lot closer into contention had he not had that triple bogey on the back 9. So maybe some of that factors into it. But I agree with you, Diane. I mean, he's playing at a really good clip these days.
Yeah, and we saw him at the Dell Technology match play not long ago, finishing runner-up there. And I think that we saw just a dip in his form for a long time, and we kind of forgot just how good he is. And we're starting to see that rise back up. So out of Group B, I would pick Dustin Johnson.
In Group C, last but not least, Cameron Smith, Xander Schauffele, Victor Hovland, Shane Lowry. Who we got?
So hard. Again, Xander Schauffele last weekend at the Byron Nelson, he made the cut on the number and then just had a phenomenal Sunday, finishing in a tie for second in the end. So you see that grit from someone like Xander, who's just got insane talent, and what a time for him, that he just won the team event, the Zurich Classic with Patrick Cantlay not long ago. But what a time for Xander to be kind of finding that amazing form again as well. We talked about Cam Smith, very hard to overlook him. Shane Lowry, when it comes to the wind, I'm always like, because grew up playing in those conditions, and we've seen a lot of really positive, encouraging play from him lately. And then Victor Hovland has been so off the radar. We haven't seen him play for ages. And he went to Oklahoma State. So again, he's going to really have the crowd behind him. So I think if I had to pick someone from that group, I'm going to... Xander or Cam Smith. I think I'm going to go
It's a toss-up.
Yeah, but the way that he played at the weekend in Dallas was just... like incredible golf to watch. So hopefully he can continue that this week.
Keeping our fingers crossed. Tell your brother we say best of luck. We're going to be rooting him on. I'm definitely going to be betting on him. So let him know. And then congratulations again on being pregnant, Diane. We'll talk to you next week. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, guys. Have a great week. Thank you.
Take care, Diane.
That was Diane Knox Balas. From the course to the court, Zeno, we go. We have game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals starting tonight. The Heat taking on the Boston Celtics. The Celtics coming back from a 3-2 deficit to win the series. The Heat might have the upper hand based on rest. It's crazy because I looked at some stats. Teams coming off of game 7s have won only 39% of game 1s in the next round. But you look, these teams are pretty evenly matched. They both have incredible switching defenses. They both have two-way bigs that can hold their own. They both have superstars on either side in Jason Tatum and Jimmy Butler. Both teams have depth. Both teams play disciplined. 2 elite defenses. How do you see this series playing out?
Well, it's interesting that Miami opened up as a 1.5-point favorite. It's now moved to 2, but yet Boston is nearly a 2-1 favorite to win the series. That's very telling to me, and why I'm backing Boston here in game 1. And I hope the number continues to climb by the public betting Miami at home, where they've been very good, not only this year, but during the postseason. But the one play that I look at in this game, Lauren, is the under. I can't get away, for as much as I get stuck on overs sometimes and having this NBA postseason, this under at 204, it's an insanely low number, but I don't know how they get over
so low.
it. I mean, I don't know. It won't surprise me if we see a total posted below 200 at some point in this series, especially if this first game goes under. Look, in the first regular season meeting between these two teams, the final was 95-78. The other season meeting between these two teams landed right on 204 at 106-98. I mean, what's the reason to believe that either one of these teams is going to get to 100 here? Miami has the top scoring defense in the playoffs, averaging 97.5 points allowed, and Boston is only averaging 101.8 points per game allowed in the postseason. I mean, these are top 4 defenses statistically all season long during the regular season. They're 2 of the best defenses here in the postseason. The Heat have gone 9 of their last 11 games have gone under, and they've only had 2 games go over the total since April 1st at home. So show me where both of these teams are getting to 100. I don't believe it. I'll take the under 204. I wrote this whole thing up for the Pickswise website as well. You can check it out there.
I was actually looking at the under. I have not bet this game. I am just looking forward to watching an exciting game. I kind of like a Celtics in 6 bet here, but I haven't made it yet. I'm kind of on the edge of my seat. I've held back my finger from hitting the button, but I might be doing that. Yeah, I'm going to bet it. Celtics in 6 here.
You know, for the audience, in case they don't know, since I'm incredibly young and good looking, you're a lot younger than I am. So you have to go on the internet to see what 1990s basketball looked like. I grew up during that. So, I expect this series to be a throwback to that. As physical as they're going to allow, I think the refs put their whistles in the pocket. They know both of these teams are going to bang each other around. You're going to see like 1990s throwback style. You have to get on the interwebs, Laura, and look for, Lauren, and look for, 1990s basketball, playoff basketball.
Did you just call me Laura?
I did. I slipped. I was getting so excited about my throwback and I called you the wrong name.
Yeah, you hate to see it. No, but I actually was leaning the under this game. I am excited. I am excited to see these two teams play. Sometimes we like to see that fire basketball with the threes dropping, all of the offense. But I'm excited to see this gritty, hard-fought, tough defensive matchup on 2 teams that have incredible switching defenses and 2 great coaches that know how to make solid in-game adjustments. I'm excited to see how this series plays out. Zeno's on the under. I'm leaning towards Celtics in 6. I'll tweet it out if I actually bet it. We'll see what happens. And then you look at the game. I'm going to talk about this Mavs-Warriors game tomorrow because obviously that's when it is. You're not on the show tomorrow, Zeno. So I want you to break it down. Luka's been obviously phenomenal this postseason. You saw him in Game 7. He tied the Suns in the first half with total points. And my favorite part about that is post-game, he was asked, hey, you had the same amount of points as the Suns did in the first half. Did you know that? Most guys would be like, no, I'm so locked in on the game. I'm so focused on the game, the team. He goes, well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
When they asked him, I'm like, that's awesome. But these two teams do match up extremely well. They both go to small ball lineups to force the opponents basically into submission. They both rely heavily on the threes to fall. The Golden State Warriors, I don't think are playing to the caliber that we're used to seeing from the Golden State Warriors, but they're still able to get it done. But in my eyes, the Mavs right now, Zeno, I don't know if you agree, are entering this series, I think, playing some of their best basketball that we've seen all season.
No, I mean, listen, this is a coin flip series. I don't care what the odds makers say and how much they're going to favor Golden State in this thing. I'm not counting Dallas out. That said, I don't, laying 5 points feels like a lot for a game one here. But you did talk about, teams coming off a game 7, and Golden State certainly is more rested. And Golden State did not have the sort of path, the tough path to this point, the way Dallas did, right? They had to take out the number 1 seed, and then they had to come back in a series in their first round. So I look at this and I can't get away from the over here, because if Luke is going to do what Luke is going to do, Dallas is going to get to 105, 110. And are you telling me that Dallas's defense can keep Golden State? And I didn't think they could keep Phoenix in the 90s, but that's fed more, I think, about Phoenix than anything else. Look, Golden State can shoot. And one thing that neutralizes great defense is outside shooting. And Golden State has plenty of it. And there is a huge difference when Klay Thompson is going in that offense. Like, they are unbeatable when Klay Thompson is scoring the way he did in that closeout game against Memphis. If you get any version of that of Klay Thompson in game 1, where he's got 25, 27, along with what Steph is going to do and Draymond and everybody else, this is a low number for both of these teams. I know Dallas's defense is very good, and I don't discount them, but to get to 215 here at a 214.5 total, me feels like very feasible, if I can get to, 110, 105 kind of deal is right where I think this thing lands.
Yeah, I could absolutely see that happening. Both teams rely heavily on threes to fall. I can see shots just dropping from the perimeter. It's going to be exciting to see both of these series get started. Heat Celtics tonight, Warriors Mavs tomorrow. I'm going to be breaking that Warriors Mavs game down tomorrow. Heat Celtics, I kind of like the Celtics in 6. Zeno likes the under. Zeno likes the over in Warriors Mavs. So I'm excited. We got postseason, baby. Postseason conference finals. Let's get it going. Also, speaking of postseason, we're in the postseason for the NHL. No games yesterday. The second round starting today. We have 2 games, the Lightning taking on the Panthers, and then we also have the Blues taking on the Colorado Avalanche. So let's start with the Lightning-Panthers game. Both teams extremely solid offensively. I'll let you break down your cap first before I let you know. You have a total, I have a side. How are you betting this game?
So when I saw the number at 7, and then I went to look at what price I was paying for the total, I would have thought that the under was actually going to be less juice than what it was. Because again, that's a ton of goals. Like, to expect a 8-goal game in the NHL, particularly in the playoffs, is really rare. This is heavily juiced to the under, to the point where you're paying $1.50 on a dollar, but yet the over is plus money. I thought the over would have been around -105, -110, and you would have seen the same for the under. It would have been fairly close, but they're making you pay a premium price for this under in this game against 2 of the highest scoring teams in the league. When you talk about Florida, the highest scoring team in the league. And I know that they have great goaltending, and I know Vasilevsky was great in net in game 7, but this isn't a game 7. This is a game 1. And Vasilevsky in the game 1 against Toronto, I think he gave up 5 goals. So you kind of let your foot off the gas pedal. You breathe a little bit after a game 7 like that you squeak by against a good team. And it's almost an emotional letdown spot here. It's not the offense you want to have a letdown against as the Florida Panthers. I'm getting plus money on the over, and I can push at 7. I'm going to take it here. My guess is this thing ends up 5-3 final.
Yeah, I actually, and to add on your point a little bit, Bobrovsky, he has been solid. He was good in the first round. He wasn't great, but he was good. But you look at his numbers against Tampa this season, .850 save percentage and 4.03 goals against average against Tampa this year. Tampa has been his kryptonite. So you look at that, where he played well in the first round, but you have a team like the Ice Cats, who are the number 1 team. They average 3.77 goals per game on the season. And then you have a goaltender that hasn't been very good against Tampa. I also like the over in this spot. I haven't bet it, Zeno, but actually you just convinced me. I'm going to bet the over right when we get off of the show. I'm looking at Tampa Bay money line in this spot at plus 132. I remember watching this series last year in the first round, and it was so much fun. It was fire hockey, extremely fast paced, really fun to watch, a lot of goals being scored. And I don't know, you look at the Lightning and what they've been able to do. They've won 9 straight playoff series. That's pretty incredible. The number, though, is so high for them in this game. Like, they're such underdogs in this game because Braden Point is highly doubtful for game 1, which is giving me a great value betting the Lightning money line. During the season, the Tampa Bay Lightning played 16 games without Braden Point. They were 13-2-1 straight up. They're a deep team. As a road underdog this season, Tampa is 2-2 straight up, 3-1 against the spread. So Braden Point not being in the lineup is not a deal breaker for me because they have the depth to be able to get this thing done. And then I mentioned Bobrovsky's numbers, .850 save percentage, 4.03 goals against average against Tampa this year. The price on the Lightning for me is just way too long to pass up, and it's just the market overreacting without Point in the lineup. I know Florida has a deeper offense, but Tampa Bay has a better defense. They have a better goaltender. And I look at since 2014, fun fact, the President's Trophy winner only advanced past the second round one time since 2014.
Yeah.
That's what, 8 years? Only once. It's a curse. It's a curse. These are two of the highest scoring teams in the NHL. I know Florida's been great at home this season. They're 34-7-0 at home. But Vasilevsky has won in his last 9 playoff series. He has a .922 postseason save percentage. With both sides having a ton of firepower, goaltending for me is going to be the difference. And with Bobrovsky struggling the way he is against Tampa Bay, trust the Lightning more. And I don't think that Braden Point not being in the lineup, he's not even officially out of the lineup yet, but they're 13-2-1 this season without Braden Point. I still trust Tampa Bay in this spot. And I love the price that I'm getting it at plus 132. I got that on FanDuel. So with this game, I'm betting the over. You convinced me, and I'm betting Tampa Bay money line for game 1. Now taking it over to the West, the Blues taking on the Avs. I'm on quite a few bets in this game, but I'll let you go first before I run through my whole slate of how I'm betting it.
Complete contrarian play here based off the price.
That's a Jared word, Zeno. That is his Jared word. He always has contrarian.
Okay. I'm flexing in the opposite direction. Does that work better? I flex in the opposite direction. That's that. Yeah. I'm going to take the first period under 1.5 goals here at plus 150, which you almost never see. And I'm just not walking away from the price here at getting plus 150. It'll probably be a half unit play for me, but because both of these teams are so firepower oriented, especially Colorado, they do so much well on the offensive end. They are just such a complete team. It'll be very hard. But St. Louis has been very aggressive or deceptive, I should say, this year when it comes to their first period overs. They're in the top 10 in the league this year during the regular season in first period overs. So they certainly can find the back of the net. But, I'm just going to go completely the other side and take the under. Hope I get some hot goaltending and some teams that both of them who got into the first round a little bit earlier, they'll have a little bit more rust than rest, and it'll be a little bit slow coming out of the gate here. So at plus 150, I can't walk away from it. Way too much value in my favor.
Yeah, that makes me nervous. That bet makes me nervous, but I totally understand the value play and the price that you're getting it at. But even Gabe Landeskog, the Avs captain, said the other day, he goes, forget rust. Rest is always needed at this time of the season. So I think that they've been chomping on the bit to get back out there. And I actually think that they're a little surprised that maybe the series, I don't know. I think they would have wanted the series to start a little bit sooner. But they love the rest that they've been getting. I'm on 4 different bets for this series. So first of all, my futures bets, I like the Avs in 5, and I like the value that I'm getting it at. So I like the series going 5 games. I got it at plus 220 on FanDuel, and I like the Avs winning the series 4-1. I got that at plus 285 on FanDuel. So those are the 2 plays that I'm going. You look at how the Avs played the Blues last season in the postseason. They swept them in the first round. They went 4-0. And I look at the Blues right now. They're a little beat up on the back end. They had some injuries to their defensive guys. Torrey Krug's going to be out this round. Marco Scandella is questionable at this point. But these guys had bangs and bruises. They played 9 different defensemen in the first round. One game, they actually had 7 defensemen and only 11 forwards. So you look at their back end and then the way that the Avs have been playing offensively. I think that they're going to be able to get this thing done in 5 just because of the offensive firepower that the Avs have had this season. I look at their series last year. So the Avs swept the Blues in the first round last year. The Avs outscored the Blues 20-7. They've had 5 home playoff games against St. Louis. Colorado is 5-0 straight up, 4-1 against the spread. Now the last 5 games against the Blues, the Avs games have gone, the Blues Avalanche games, these games have gone over the total in each of the last 5. So I look at the over 7 in this spot. Again, if they score 7 goals, I'm pushing, but it's at plus 110. That's great value here. The first round, the Avs were led by Cale Makar. He had 3 goals, 7 assists, 10 total points. St. Louis rallied from a 2-1 deficit to defeat the Blues in 6 games, and it was all about balance for them. Ryan O'Reilly, Vladimir Tarasenko, David Perron all scored 5 goals. Both teams exceptionally strong on the power play. Colorado is clicking at an unreal 43.8% on the power play. Basically, they're scoring on 1 out of 2 power plays. The Blues, exceptional as well, 30.8% they're clicking on their power play. Now, the Blues injuries, that's an issue for me. Darcy Kemper, he's good to go for game 1 of this series after taking a stick to the eye. Last round, the Blues was the Blues' first playoff series that they've won since they won the Stanley Cup in 2019. Colorado is rested. They're going to come out firing on all cylinders. St. Louis's defense is a little banged up. I think it's going to be a long night for them. But you look at their first round this year. Colorado scored 21 goals in 4 games in the first round. The Blues scored 19 goals in the 4 games that they won in the first round. If you add that up, that's 40 total goals. Okay? If you divide that by 4, if my math is correct, that's 10 goals per game. I like the over 7 here. So over 7, series going to 5 games, and Avs winning the series in 5, 4-1. You're getting all 3 of those at plus money. I actually have one more bet on this game, but it's my best bet of the day. So before we get into that, Zeno, let's go to Pickswise.com. Who do we have for our 3-star play of the day today?
A couple of them out there. Again, we just had Diane Knox Balas on earlier. She has Jordan Spieth at plus 1,800 to win the PGA Championship as a 3-star play. Another golf one from Diane Knox Balas has Brooks Koepka at plus 700 for a top 5 finish. So those are hers. Again, make sure you go to Pickswise.com for that. But the one play that's interesting, it's Mark Lammy, who has a hockey pick, over 6.5 in the Lightning Panthers game. It's minus 135. And I just like to point out what I said before, that for the half goal, I have it at over 7 at plus 114. That's a 50 cents difference for me to push. I'm getting 50 cents in value. And even if I push, I don't lose. So why not? I get the 6.5 going over at minus 135. But if I don't have to pay juice and I can get more money back, I'll risk the push to get to 7 because it's just a smarter investment when it comes to gambling. So, and my guess is they get to 8 regardless. So why even pay the extra juice when I don't have to? I'll take the money back in my pocket.
Yeah, it actually is really interesting. In a lot of these games, margin of victory has been by 2.5 to 3 goals. A lot of these empty net goals are putting these games over. So I actually really like you betting the over in this spot. And again, I'm betting that as well, plus 114. I'd rather push at a plus money value than lay the juice for that 6.5. Our best bets of the day. I'll let you go first. Actually, I'll go first since we're on the topic of hockey, and then we'll get into your baseball bet. I like the Avs puck line in this spot, and I'm getting it at plus money. So all 4 of my bets on this Avs Blues series are at plus money right now. I'm getting it at plus 110. Over 7, I'm also getting it plus 110. The Avs firepower is just so good. Their lines 1 through 4, they're healthy right now. They're rested. They're coming into this game chomping at the bit. They're hungry. And I know St. Louis is a solid team. Binnington's been playing well between the pipes. Darcy Kemper is better. The Avs defense is phenomenal. The Avs offensively have been so solid. They scored 21 goals in 4 games. They're going to come out and they're going to be ready to rock and roll, and they're playing at home in front of a home crowd. So I think that they're going to want to get this thing going, and they're going to be able to get it done. And then a lot of these empty net goals, like I was saying, have put these totals over the top. So I like them laying 1.5. And again, like I was saying, they're 5-0 straight up and 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 home playoff games against St. Louis. So give me the Avs puck line at plus 110, baby. Who you got for yours?
All right, I need a win badly here on the play of the day. So every now and then, the clouds part and the golf gods look down on us and show us the way. And I dug deep for this play of the day today. And I am going to go between the Yankees and the Orioles. Spencer Watkins, the starting pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles, over 5.5 hits allowed at plus 128. Here's the rub on Spencer Watkins. Overall, he's given up 29 hits in 26 innings pitched this year. At home, he's given up 16 hits to 12 innings pitched. In the month of May, he gave up 15 hits in just 8 1/3 innings pitched. Versus righties, Lauren, they have 19 hits and 59 at-bats. That's a 322 average. All 4 home runs he's allowed have been to right-handers. Have you seen the Yankees lineup? Judge, Stanton, Donaldson, Torres, all right-handers. Also, first time through the order for Spencer Watkins. They are batting 326 against him. They have 15 hits and 46 at-bats. You know who's up in the first inning for the Yankees? Judge and Stanton. This is shining down on me at glorious plus money. Spencer Watkins over 5.5 hits, plus 128. Let's go.
Let's go, baby. And let's go to the end of the show. That's it for us today. Find us on the Pickswise YouTube channel. Go to Pickswise.com. Follow us on Twitter. Mark Zeno. I'm Lauren Tabar. Best of luck tonight, you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.